if you watch the series Girls, Brian Williams, whose daughter, I forgot her first name, but last name Williams, appeared on the show and starred on the show Girls as the character Marnie. Her father, Brian Williams, who for long years hosted the NBC Nightly News, he was accused of sexual misconduct and was let go, as well as Matt Lauer, as well as Brian Gumble, as well as the list goes on and on in terms of the sexual misappropriation and misconduct and some other things that has happened under the NBC watch. Now, here's what we do know. We do know that Gabrielle Union has parted ways, and there has not been much said. I think that she, through a Instagram statement, just kind of, and I'm not quoting, but I'm, just kind of surmising that she said that, through the tears and through everything, she's just happy that she has a family to lean back on and what have you. Now, I think the sad part is that no one has really come to the defense of Gabrielle Union. Now, think about yourself in the work environment, right? For most of us who work in a corporate work environment, doesn't matter what the actual genre of work is that you do, but specifically just working in a corporate environment. If you are a person of color and has worked in a corporate or any environment, you more than likely have experienced some racial misconduct. If you are a woman, you have more than likely experienced some sexual misconduct. Hell, if you're a man, you probably have also experienced some sexual misconduct at this point, depending on the situation. And I say all of this to say that shout out to the warriors out there who, when they see something bad happening, even if it's not happening to them, they speak up. I know what it feels like to work in a toxic work culture where you are looking around. So especially if you are not tenured in that work culture. So for all intents and purposes, if you looked at the panel of America's Got Talent, it's Simon Cowell, it's Gabrielle Union, and I don't know who else was there, but she was probably the least tenured out of all of them and the first one to speak up. And that can be difficult, especially when you are a Black woman, because I don't care what people say until we are in a space where we can talk honestly about what situations are. We are not putting ourselves in predicaments to change or shift the culture, right? So unless we are willing to have honest conversation, even about sex, what I was first talking about, my own situation, I felt almost, and if we're going to have honest talk, because we always do, because we are friends, but honestly, I didn't even feel comfortable in saying that I had a sexual encounter last night because it's not what I'm supposed to say. There's a certain amount of judgment and prejudice, stereotype that comes with that. And unless we're willing to have honest conversations about what situations are, we're not putting ourselves in a situation to change or shift the culture. So here you have Gabrielle Union, and instead of having other people who have also worked on the set and could possibly speak out, Nick Cannon worked on the set. Now, I don't know if there's non-disclosure agreements involved here and what have you, so he may not be able to speak up. Gabrielle herself may not be able to speak up. But shout out to people like Ellen Pompeo, Meredith Grey, for all of you who do not follow her in terms of her career. But if you follow the show Grey's Anatomy, she is the Grey of Grey's Anatomy, Meredith Grey, on the show. Ellen Pompeo, who is married to a Black man and has biracial children, oftentimes speaks up in in a world in Hollywood where it could be looked down upon for her to speak up. But I've always applauded her because she's always stepped out there. And she stepped out there on behalf of Gabrielle Union, just basically saying that, you know what? I support Gabrielle Union. I don't know what happened in terms of what happened there, but what I do know is that she's always stuck up for the community of the world by and large. And for that, I support her in whatever happened at America's Got Talent. And this was also followed by several actresses speaking up on behalf of Gabrielle and supporting her because one of the things I can tell you from personal experience is that if you have put yourself on the line to speak up for wrong, regardless of what situation is, if it's ever cost you the possibility that you could be putting yourself on the line, you are risking something. That is true courage. And I want to take this time to shout out to one of my friends. Hey, Marissa. I really admire people who speak up in a place where it is oftentimes just not, it's not conducive for them to speak up because they could lose something. Dwayne Wade also spoke up for Gabrielle Union in terms of saying, you know what, she's a strong woman and she deserves our support in this time in terms of what happened to her on the set of America's Got Talent. So we all support Gabrielle, and I am looking forward to finding out what she has coming down the pike next. Is she still doing that show with Jessica Alba? It's a show that, to be honest with you, I haven't watched it, but I hope it's good. Speaking of the Wades, a lot of you were up in arms because of the picture, the family image that they posted post Thanksgiving. The image included a picture of my personal favorite, Kavia James, and Dwayne and Gabby, and as well as their son, Zaire. Zaire is pictured wearing a cute little sweat crop top, which a lot of you seem to have a problem with. And shout out to Dwayne Wade for being a black man who is helping to shift the culture, who is taking his fame to shift the culture, and who is also leading his family in a particular way. A lot of you had a lot to say under the post about his son wearing the crop shirt. And he basically said, listen, a lot of y'all got something to say. This is my house. I am the leader of this family, and y'all don't get an opinion on what happens in my house. Okay. So unfortunately, and this is just me saying it, a lot of you niggas weren't loved unconditionally. You were loved with conditions. So you only know to look at love from that perspective, which I totally understand. You know, the judgment that was on you, you weren't loved unconditionally. And it's difficult. You're triggered when you see someone being loved that way. You're triggered when you see someone's father, black father, loving their black son in a way that you were not loved. But soak it all in because it's there for you too. He's not just posting that picture because of him. He's posting that picture to help you realize that that love exists out there. And it's okay for you to love somebody that way. Oh, celebrities, they're just like us. You know who's not just like us, and you know who we are just, I am. All right, so for those of you who are TRL kids, you remember Kid Rock, right? Kid Rock? You don't remember Kid Rock? Remind me of a song that Kid Rock sings right now. I don't remember. Did he sing Cowboy Baby? He didn't sing I Did It All for the Nookie, right? Was that Limp Bizkit? I don't know. Anyways, listen. Kid Rock went off on a racist rant, excuse me. I can't even read. He went out on a racist roast rant at the Honky Tonk Bar. An appropriate place for him to do that at. The Honky Tonk Bar, which is in Nashville, Tennessee, and owned by Kid Rock. He did a little set, if you will, and he's heard saying, fuck her being Oprah. She can suck a dick sideways. Fuck Oprah and Joy Behar. I don't know why he went in on Joy too. Joy Behar of The View. In a tweet, he later did not apologize, but clarified that my people tried to get me to do the Oprah Winfrey Show years ago, and her people wanted me to write down 5 reasons why I loved her and her show, to which I said, fuck that. So apparently, I don't know where Kid Rock developed this really low energy of hating Oprah, because Oprah is out there living her best life, not giving 0 fucks about Kid Rock. But he is so bothered by her that he had to get up in front of a crowd of people to declare his hate for her and Joy Behar. Now, my understanding is that this also stems from whatever their political views are, and him not really seeing eye to eye with that. And he might also be mad at Oprah for doing good. I don't know. He might also hate sunshines, unicorns, and rainbows. As far as I'm concerned, if you can't come up with 5 reasons to love Oprah, then you might as well go on ahead and kill yourself anyway, which is such an insensitive thing for me to say. But honestly, the world does not need people like Kid Rock, because let me tell you something. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you're a fan of Oprah. Oprah has done enough good in this world that you can find five reasons to love her. Now, you may not be a fan, and that's okay, but you ain't got to get up on stage declaring your undying hate for her. It just seems like you're definitely bothered. And I mean, there's people who are like that all the time, who claim that they are just so not into someone, but yet so bothered by them that they would spend their precious moments and breath to talk about them. Well, if you're that bothered, then I'm sorry, love, but you don't hate them. You actually love them, because if you really were unbothered by them, you'd be indifferent towards whatever it was that they were doing and just moving on with your own life. I don't know, just my opinion. T.I. appeared this week. Did you guys watch Red Table Talk this week? It never dawned on me that Red Table Talk was such a short show. Yeah, I feel like it could be at least 35 to 40 minutes. Yeah, I like it. I think that Jada and the combination of her mom and young Willow, who is on tour right now, so you're probably not seeing her included on much interviews. But I think that the combination of all of them is, I don't know. I think that the combination is kind of dope, and it allows for variance on a generational perspective, which I appreciate. But at any rate, T.I. appeared on the show this week to spread more of his misogyny and toxicity in talking about, which I'm sure is much to his daughter's chagrin, talking further about his opinion about his daughter's pap smear and hymen check. Jada was basically trying to get him to understand why it would be seen as something negative. Now, T.I. basically said that, in his opinion, he is just leading his family in a way that he knows how, which may not be the best way, which we can all acquiesce to the fact that, sometimes we don't all get it right, and there's some ignorance surrounding it. Now, I don't want to say that I blame Tiny in this situation, but I do feel like Tiny for all intents and purposes, she seems to be a very intelligent woman. And I would venture a guess to say that because she isn't Tasha's mom, she perhaps, and I'm just guessing here, but perhaps didn't feel like it was all the way her way to parent 100% in this situation, because I don't think that this is something that he did with Zanique, and I don't think that this is something that Tiny would have allowed. What I will say is that I could still sense that at the end of the interview that T.I. got it, but didn't all the way get it. And I think that that just may be a lot of toxic masculinity that he may have been stewing in for quite some time that acts almost like a blocker, a blocker for him to understand. Now, there will be a part 2 to the interview with Tiny and T.I. where they go into